up, YouTubers? Rich here from QRC Productions. And you could see the Bullitt here in front of you, the 2001 Mustang Bullitt Edition. For those of you that have never seen one of our videos or don't know what this is, it is a 2001 true blue color Mustang GT Bullitt Edition. It is one of 723 cars of true blue Bullits, and it is one of 54 with my option package. My dad happened to find it up north, got a pretty good deal on it. Was originally intending to buy and resell, and in order to keep it, I sold a couple of my other vehicles that I had, and made room for the Bullitt. And I absolutely love the car. I fell in love with it like immediately. Like I said, it was going to be bought to be sold, and it's just a really cool car. They're not worth a ton of money now. They're at the bottom of the depreciation cycle, but they are still a very cool car. And I bought this one with some mileage on it. Had 13,000 or 12,000 when I bought it. And after driving it, you know, it ran really good, really strong, but it was apparent that there was some issues there. And whether the previous owner knew about it or not, I'm not sure. He seemed like a pretty cool dude, but he was also eager to sell. So he might have had a little inkling of some of the things that I didn't notice right off the bat. And what this video is getting to right now is the Bullitt is all back together, as you can see. It's a week after the cam install and the engine put back together. Spent a little time this morning straightening up the Bullitt bay here. I still got to get rid of oil because I'm going to be doing another change. I got parts up here. I packaged up the old PI cams, put them in the boxes, and kind of straightening up a little bit in here because I want this bay to be kept clean. And I have a 2-car, and we added this 3rd car on when we moved in the house in 2003. And I built this 3rd car with a door on the front and a door on the back, which I absolutely love. And you could see the Bullitt is in here, and I got a good couple feet of clearance behind it. And I have probably a good 8 feet or so, 10 feet in front of it, which is awesome. Yeah, maybe 8 feet. It gives a lot of extra room up here when you're working on stuff, and obviously this was crowded over when I was doing the build. But now we're back in order, and what I eventually want to do someday is get a shed and build a shed in the back and get rid of all this miscellaneous garbage you see on the side. So anyway, in the past I've had a tendency of being very, very sloppy when it comes to garage space and, you know, tools and stuff like that, and I'm trying to get myself a little more refined and keep it nice. And I want this base staying nice where the Bullitt sits. As you can see, the hood's back on. Everything is good to go. All I did was do a little splash off, rinsed it the other day. It needs to be buffed. I'm going to rebuff it this year the right way. Really, my Uncle Jerry, my dad, my Uncle Gene, they're all body guys, and my dad, my Uncle Jerry were talking to me about, you know, you can buy the stuff from the auto parts store, the Advance Auto, and then you buy the professional grade stuff, and that's what we're going to do this year. The one blemish on the car is a dent ding in the door here, which I tried to repair it a little bit, and I screwed it up worse. So it's got a dent. The metal is stretched. It can't be pulled out with paintless dent removal. That is the only flaw on the car. But anyway, I don't want to get too off track today. What we are doing today, because we did a very minimal sound sample last week. Since last week, I've ran the car. It has the Bama baseline tune. Performance tune is what's on there now. I have not even messed with the race tune yet. You have 2 options. I contacted Bama this week. They're very helpful. I went through the process of recording data yesterday. We put about 130 miles on the car yesterday. It ran absolutely flawless. Lots of stop starts, highway cruising. I put my foot in it a couple times. I still haven't wound it up past like 4,800. I was going to wait till the next oil change. I'm going to change the oil again. From the break-in process of the cams and that, and then I'm going to wind it up. It's apparent that the valve train and everything is good. It's super quiet. Everything's running nice. I didn't want to beat the crap out of it right away, and I really don't beat the crap out of the car, to be honest. I mean, the most I put my foot in it is the couple times that I filmed myself putting my foot in it. That's really it. It does have some miles on it. The lower half, pistons, crank, rings assembly is still original, which if you take care of them and this motor is extremely clean inside, you can get 200,000 to 300,000 miles out of them, no problem. We did the update on the top, pretty much all the components on top, plus everything on the outside that we could possibly do. Going down the list, valve springs, cam followers, lash adjusters, new MHS Stage 2, Gen 2 NA cams, new water pump, new thermostat, all new timing components, gears, crank gears, cam gears, cast tensioners with the ratchets, new chains, new guides, new Ford oil pump. I've changed the EGR valve. It's got a new IAC. It's got new spark plugs, new coils. I think I said thermostat, new coolant sensor, cam sensor, crank sensor. Last year we did the windows, got the windows smoked on the sides and the back. The guy in town lives by me, did an awesome job at that. We put the tin on the third brake light, license plate rings. We did the rear Mustang decals. We did the JBA off-road H-pipe. I still have the stock Bullitt mufflers intact. Interior is completely stock in an excellent condition for its age and how old the car is, and just phenomenal condition. We put the Bullitt decal or vinyl that I had made. I made a stainless little backing plate that we put by the shifter, and I picked up this Ford Racing steering wheel cover. It makes the steering wheel a little more thicker, because the standard Mustang steering wheels are just really thin. And you can see overall the car is really clean, and I absolutely love the car. And cars run deep in my family bloodline, and it's really kind of weird that I've talked about this with some of my friends, Sean B. We talk about this, how cars actually take on a personality almost like a person. Although they're inanimate and they're made up of metal and plastic and rubber, you almost feel like they're a member of the family, like someone would treat their dog or cat or whatever, maybe sometimes better. And when you go through trials, like just the things I've been going on with this car over the last almost 2 years, year and a half, and you work through these things, and you rip your knuckles on it. My uncles talked about this. You rip your knuckles on them, you bleed, you stress about things, you work, you save up for money, for parts, you put your labor into it. There's a piece of you in this car. Someday when I'm not here anymore, there'll be a piece of me in this car, and it'll get passed down to my kids or whatever happens. I don't know at that point, but there's a piece of you that's there, and it gets more intensified as time goes. You get more and more attached to your vehicle, and that's why guys are so freaky about getting fingerprints and scratches and driving down the road and having rock chips and everything else, because if you're a car person, and if you are, you know what I'm talking about. It's just deep in your soul, and I can't really describe it, but I've always loved cars since I was little. You know, it's been around me ever since I was little. Cars have been around me, and there's just the sound of a V8 engine, the cam sound like the Bullitt has now. It just gives me chills. I absolutely love it. And it was a stressful job. I got through it. I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I did my research. I took my time. I asked questions. I read. And the end result was it turned out awesome. It felt so good last week when the thing fired up and it ran good. And if I would have took it into a shop and had somebody do the cams and do all this stuff for me, the car would have sounded good. It would have been awesome. But it definitely would not have been as special as me putting in the wrench time and doing the work myself. So I will not hesitate anymore. What I'm going to do is I'm going to crack the hood, and I'll leave the hood up because I'll walk around the car and I'm going to give you cold start. This is the 4.6 liter 2-valve, standard 2-valve engine like they put in all Mustang GTs. The Bullitt edition has a little bit different computer settings, standard. It has the Bullitt intake. It has different exhaust, It has different mufflers that flow 20% better than a GT. And these cams are supposed to work really well with the intake manifold on the Bullitt. And I was sweating it a little bit about the cams because when it was running the other day and I'm listening to it, I'm like, am I hearing misfires in the idle? I'm like hyper analyzing it. And we had the PT Cruiser worked on, had some serious electrical issues that my buddy Brian got straightened out, so he had it for a couple weeks. And basically he called yesterday when we were tooling in the Bullitt, had to run some errands and stuff. It said the car was ready. So Megan and I drove out there and picked up the PT. And while we rolled up there, I thought, man, I got the car. I'm going to let Brian listen to it. And then his tech was there, who has an older Trans Am. I believe it's like a 2000 Trans Am that he was just finishing doing a cam swap. So I asked those two guys to come over, and they listened to it, and they said the car sounds fantastic. It's the cams, that's the way they sound. It's the valve overlap. This is 111 and a half lobe separation. You know, it has a certain unique sound. And from last week when you guys heard the sample, that was on the stock tune, untuned, just starting up, computer not calibrated yet, and it sounded really, really nice. But those of you that know about cars and cams and everything else, and what I've been learning over time really getting into it, is that the idle will smooth out somewhat when it is tuned correctly. You can get that super, super choppy, loppy idle, but that's not necessarily always when the car is running right. They feel that the tune, the baseline tune, is very, very close. It returns on idle. When I first started it last week and I loaded the Bama tune, I had major idle hang. It would hang about 1700 and stay there for about 8 seconds and then drop. That straightened out. It's idling between like 850 and 900 now. It returns. It's never died out. It takes the gas nice off the start, and it's running really, really well. I pulled a couple of the plugs, and they look a little bit on the whiter side like they were before I had the tune or anything done. So I have data logged. I am sending the information over to Bama Tuning this week. Hopefully they will refine it a little bit and send me over an updated tune if anything needs to be adjusted. And those of you who are not familiar, American Muscle deals with Bama. Bama is their tuner, one of their tuners. And when you buy the tuner like I did, the SCT X4, it comes with the custom tunes. They ask you a series of about 15 questions to tailor the tune to your vehicle, and you have free tunes for life. So you pay the initial $400 for the unit and the tunes, but every time you do an upgrade on your car or anytime you want to change whatsoever, you can send them the information and they will rewrite you a tune free of charge. They also add two-step in there if you want. They can, you know, adjust the rev limiter, the idle for you, turn off the mill lights so you don't have a dash light coming on with the off-road pipe. I mean, they do everything for you, which is pretty cool. My only gripe about that tuner is it came with no instructions whatsoever, and I did let them know that I was a little upset about that it had absolutely no instructions whatsoever. So you have to go online and figure that out and upload it, download it, whatever, and that's fine, and that's what I did. But if you're a person that's not computer savvy, that could become a handbrake. So I am rambling way too much. This was supposed to be like a 10-minute video, so I'm going to cut away. I'm going to start the Bullitt on cold start and let it run, let you hear the exhaust, let it warm up, I'll let you hear the exhaust, and then I'm going to do some revs. And that basically the main focus of the video today was to get you a sound after baseline tune, after the MHS Stage 2 cams. And I do want to give MHS Jordan at MHS Excessive Motorsports Modular Head Shop a shout out, because I wanted to tap into this a little in the last video, and I didn't, or 2 videos ago. I was very leery about ordering aftermarket cams. CompCam does all their custom grinds now. I called him. Within the next night, I had an email confirmation saying that they were degreed, being shipped, all the parts were being shipped. In 6 days, I had the custom cams to my door, which was absolutely phenomenal. And I want to thank MHS for the awesome customer service. Now, I've emailed this Jordan a couple times. I sent him over a couple videos because I've been sending him the videos as we're going along. I have not heard nothing back after that, so I don't know if he got them or he didn't get them. But when I was calling there to contact him and emailing him when I had questions and so forth, he was answering my questions right away. I know they are in their busy time, and I probably got mine right at the nick of time before the real busy summer season is coming. But awesome to MHS and Comp for grinding me up some awesome cams and having it run this good and no piston to valve issues, even with this increased lift duration Stage 2 cam that I have. Okay, I'm going to cut this off and we're going to get some cold start running here. Other option on the Bullitt is the white dash lights with the special retro gauges. Unlike the GT, it's quite a bit different. So you got the 150 Speedo with the old school 68 looking dials, your standard oil pressure, battery, voltage, coolant temp, and obviously fuel gauge. And let's see here, what are the mileage here? Where we're at now? We're at 119, 147 on the old Bullitt. I mean, the outside body, the interior is super clean. Undercarriage looks like brand new, and that's one of the reasons why I bought the car initially. Shifter. So we're gonna let it run for a few minutes. I'm gonna cut the video off. When it's fully warmed, I'll let you hear the exhaust again. YouTubers, that's it for this week's video. The Bullitt exhaust sample. I am extremely thrilled that this project went as good as it did. It was very stressful. I had anxiety. I did my research, like I said, and I know God was with me on this task, because there was more than a few times where I was really worried that anything could have went wrong. The cam grind, any of the new parts I bought, a decision that was made wrong, something I missed, whatever. I know God was with me. I know those of you who watch me or follow me on Google Plus know that I am a Christian. I'm a Christian under construction. I'm always working to try to be a better person and do what I'm supposed to be doing on this planet. And so I do want to thank God for helping me out with this project. And I also want to take this moment to wish everybody a happy Easter. God bless everyone. Enjoy your families on this weekend and this holiday. Until next time, Rich from 2RC Productions signing out. Please don't forget to thumbs up and sub to the channel if you haven't, and if you like what you're seeing. This is officially the end of the Bullitt cam install build series, but there'll be much more videos to come of exhaust samples and mods as we go along, car shows, cruises, etc.